is the Nine L's Disc Golf Podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm JP.
JP, we got a lot to go over.
Yeah.
It was 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
a lot happened in those 2 weeks.
There is a good amount of stuff that happened, yes.
There was, yes. There was one thing that we were going to talk about. We were like, well, there's only really one thing, but we can talk about movies or something. We're like, hey, we'll just wait till next week.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we waited until next week.
Good decision.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So
I wonder if I don't talk to other people very much, like media-wise.
just in general.
No, but like disc golf-wise, right?
Uh-huh.
Like it's not like the shop's not open. Like we don't have the shop up here, so I'm not like stopping in. Like it's not like I'm talking to Kevin or anybody else about disc golf stuff, really. And like I'm not reaching out to other podcasts so much or like media members to like talk about things. And so I'm wondering if they're feeling the same way as we are with like, okay, we're just kind of, like there's that scene in The Incredibles where Mr. Incredible lifts up the car and like there's the kid watching him and whatever. He's like, or something happens and he's like, what are you waiting for? And he's like, I don't know, something amazing to happen. Like that's kind of the feeling right now. It's like, just blow our mind.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, this week may be one of those. I mean, there's a couple things that we'll talk about. And I was like, man, I'm surprised, but not. Because, like, the writing is on the wall for a lot of these things we're going to talk about.
Sure.
So I guess I don't know if they're, like, something incredible, like you said.
Yeah.
But definitely interesting. And will they be the best thing for the sport?
Right.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, let's talk about something good for the sport, though. How about Link Disc Golf?
Ooh, okay.
Have you looked into that at all?
I'm intrigued, but I think I've seen part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are part of, so when I say we, so doordisc.com or Door Disc Golf. So in our physical shop location in Green Bay, we have the very first, and we'll throw up the air quotes, very first true disc golf simulator.
Ooh.
So it uses the tech disc technology, and so it uses the hardware.
Yeah.
And it's truly like there's a Star Wars-esque setting. So it's kind of like Top Golf almost. Like you go in, you play, and it's very responsive, like super angle sensitive, spin. Like
Really? Okay.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And this is the beta test. So there's, I think, 8 of us that have it right now.
Wow.
And this is the beta test. Like I am just blown away by how well it works so far. At first, so we've been kind of posturing ourselves for this over the last month and a half or so.
Okay.
With the throw zone that we have in the shop.
Yeah.
And we've been moving stuff around, Matt's been doing like making a screen for a projector, doing all this stuff. And ultimately we went back to the same setup we started with, just with a really nice computer and a monitor in there. And so we got the Link Disc Golf set up and we started hucking. And I came down, I was doing a blood test because I'm an old man. So they do things like that for me.
Yep. Yeah. All right.
So I went down, had like 4 vials of blood.
Oh my God.
It was stupid. It was like,
Oh, that's a lot.
I hate it. I'm sitting there and she's like, are you feeling okay? And I was like, yeah, but I think I'm like 7 pounds lighter now. I was like just shy of a gallon. So anyways, did that. And then he was like, hey, we got it. And I was like, had just enough time because I had a meeting at 1 o'clock. I had to be back. I was like, okay, I've got about 20 minutes to kill.
Sure.
I ended up spending like 45 minutes there.
Oh, gosh.
So on the way back, I go, hey, I'm going to be late for our meeting. And, but it's really good. So I played Sims for golf, regular golf, and they are good.
Okay.
They're never great. They're never like truly responsive. But they're good. And this is really good. So I encourage anybody to go linkdiscgolf.com or come into the shop and check it out. It's free right now. As of right now, you can come in and play for free because there's a 3-hole course and a 5-hole course. And these are just betas. They're just tests.
Yeah.
And they're both good. They're both very functional, very operational. But for now, they will be free. There will be a cost in the future. But as we're beta testing these, it's free. All you got to do is come in and just give your feedback.
Awesome.
That's it. So that's the cost, is take a couple minutes to give your feedback.
Yeah.
And there's a link and a form to go online and just give it straight to Link Disc Golf. But it's fantastic, man. I was very surprised by it.
Okay.
I was very surprised by it, like pleasantly surprised by it. Because I've played 2 other disc golf simulators. Mm-hmm. And when I say simulators, like I give them the air quote simulators. So the one that is with the commercial version of Tech Disc is horrible.
Oh.
I wouldn't say it's horrible. No, I'd say it's horrible.
Totally unplayable.
It really is. It really is. Like, it's one of those, like, you know, on Wii Sports, like the very first version of Wii Sports on the
Wii?
Yeah, on the Wii. yeah, on the Wii. But the very first version of that, you could do stuff with like tennis or bowling. Like, it wasn't really bowling or really tennis, but you could just like kind of whip your wrist and like strike every time.
Right.
That's kind of how, once you figure out the secret for the simulator in Tech Disc, it's just kind of like automatic.
Got it.
You know, it's one of those deals. Or you land like 85,000 feet left, and all of a sudden it says ace on the screen, and you're like, wait, I'll take it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Ace is an ace. This one is just so much better. So I encourage you, come on in and try it. You know, all you got to do is leave some feedback. We're not asking you to buy anything. We're not asking you to pay anything. Just leave some feedback for Link Disc Golf. So they can actually start going.
Okay, so obviously, like, you have the throw zone set up, and you have a screen. Mm-hmm. How intuitive is it to throw, but, like, have to look at, like, how is it set up so, like, you're looking at the screen, throwing, or you're throwing, like, does it feel off? Like, is that, like, kind of weird to, like, not throw at your target and be throwing somewhere different?
So the net we have has a target zone, and you got to throw into that target zone, kind of, you know. As of right now, the way it goes, there's no cameras or sensors. It's all just in the Tech Disc.
Yeah.
So you could throw left, right, you could shank it, and it's not going to pick that up on the computer. So you still aim where you want to aim. So you'll like move your starting direction left or right, and then you throw from there. And then it works pretty well, but it is angle sensitive as far as up or down, and it's also launch angle sensitive. So like you have a low on your reach back is low, and you follow through high, or your reach back is high and you follow through low. The disc picks it up,
right?
Like, it's pretty good that way.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of that would throw me off would be putting. I feel like putting would be incredibly hard because, you know, some people are always like, oh, I like to pick out a link, you know, on the chain, and I aim for that, and you can't really do that.
Nope. And this is. It is a difficult putt. You got to push, like, especially far putts. So if you're about 60 out, you got to kind of throw higher than you think.
Oh.
Or than I would assume. Because, you know, for me, like, I'm a direct spin putter.
Yeah.
And I don't usually put the disc that high. Whereas this is more like you're loft putting. Like you're throwing it up there.
Yeah.
So it is a little different. And that's the one thing that I would say for feedback is that I wish once you got within like 60 feet on the game, they would go into another game mode.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It keeps it exactly how it is. Like, you're throwing, and when you get within circle 1 or circle 1X, basically it's a gimme.
Yeah.
I wish it would just, from 60 feet in, it would go into a different game mode. You know what I mean? Like, where you could actually kind of changes it up a little bit to where it's not just the standard, okay, now reposition your lie and throw the disc, you know. So, but so far so good. I mean, it is worth trying. It is a lot better than I thought. And especially in Wisconsin, like, what else are we going to do right now?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, we can go play for sure, but it's so much better inside.
True.
So much nicer inside.
I don't know who the gentleman was, but it was somebody that DoorDisc showed him throwing. I don't know what his name was. I forgot what his name was. And then he gave us a shout out.
Yeah.
But I don't remember who.
I don't remember who. I wasn't there. Does Trevor sound right?
Yeah, Trevor Evan, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. It sounded like that. It was something. But thanks. Thanks for the shout out. I appreciate it.
Well, yeah. Like, I didn't
we
know,
can pull it up
I
real
didn't
quick.
know if he was associated with the software or anything like that. If he like came in and was like, hooking you guys up that way or something.
No. I do
Got
not
it.
believe so. I believe he is a semi-local. Unfortunately, just with the shop being down there, I'm not as in touch with who goes there. So
Yeah.
Link Disc Golf. Yeah, I'm not sure who that was. Salty Disc Golf? Is that right?
Maybe.
Nope. But anyways, yeah, so just go check it out. You can go into door_disc_golf, and there's some shots up there of like what it looks like to
Kevin.
oh, maybe it was Link Disc Golf. Maybe that was him. Link Disc Golf. Sure enough, I guess that was
Okay. Excellent.
I guess that was him. So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, so I didn't even know he was down there. Matt, you missed that one on me. You didn't let me know. So, but all in all, like, it is really good. So get on in there. So now that we've talked about that for a little bit, I'll give you a quick recap or a sneak peek into what we're going to talk about. There's a competing tour. So we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk a little Ken Climo. And then also another relic of history, Will Shoestrick.
Yes.
Talk both of them. Then we're going to talk about the future of disc golf. And then we'll also talk jump putts. Are they a bad thing? And then I guess last but not least, players are starting to drop off the tour.
Yes.
So where do you want to start?
I don't know.
Let's talk Ken.
Okay.
I think Ken's been beaten up enough. This horse has been beaten
Sure.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, all right, Ken Climo. His contract details have been leaked. We'll throw it up in air quotes.
Right.
So nothing has been confirmed on this, but he is most likely going to Discraft. And they're saying it is a $200,000 a year contract for 5 years. And with an immediate release of a Ken Climo line.
So what I forgot who it was, Disc Golf Fanatic or somebody posted a video on Reddit, and I think on Instagram as well, that he got to play with Ken. Ken was throwing new discs.
Okay.
And in the video, it says January 15th is
Everything's
the date.
official.
Yeah, apparently.
That's when it'll be official. So
Yeah.
we are exactly 1 month away
Yeah.
from finding out officially.
Right. Because Ken, didn't want to comment. Discraft didn't want to comment. And then, I don't know who it was. There's the guys, Disc Golf World or whatever. One of them was on Staggered Stance the other day. And they were talking about how perhaps this whole deal with Ulti-World was fabricated.
Okay.
Kind of like there wasn't really a source.
That,
It was kind of like hinted at, but
Yeah.
there's nothing official.
yeah.
So
So
I don't know.
Can we talk about Ulti-World and Charlie Eisenhood and the Disc Golf Pro Tour? Because he's part of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, right? Doesn't he have an official position with the Disc Golf Pro Tour?
Shoot.
So he's the editor-in-chief of Ulti-World.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure he's in media relations with the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
That very well could be. No, that's not what I'm looking for.
So while you're looking that up,
Yep.
I'm going to talk about my conspiracy in this one.
Okay.
Is it okay for Charlie Eisenhood to be part of media relations in the Disc Golf Pro Tour when he is the editor-in-chief of Ulti-World? Shouldn't there be some sort of NDA?
Right.
If anything within his position at the Disc Golf Pro Tour cannot be used to further his position at Ulti-World. I mean, he's the owner, of course, but to leak stuff out on Ulti-World. Because I feel like if this is all fabricated, but it's pretty darn close from what everybody's saying,
Right.
and if Discraft is not denying it,
They didn't. It's not like they were denying it. They just didn't want to comment.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much you're saying it without saying it.
Exactly. Yep. It's they can neither confirm nor deny it, right?
Yeah. And
The same thing Charlie Eisenhood said, that he would not confirm nor deny it. Climo said that. So, is Is he abusing his position in the Disc Golf Pro Tour? If he does have a position, because I'm pretty sure he has a position in the Disc Golf Pro Tour, is he abusing his position and his reach by doing that with Ultiworld? You know what I mean? Is it a conflict of interest?
No, not with the Pro Tour, I don't think. Because Ken doesn't seem like... We don't know if Ken's going to be on the tour or not, whatever.
Right.
I don't think that's really overstepping tour bounds, per se. Not having a credible source, kind of irresponsible,
of course.
Journalism there.
Yeah.
Right.
But is there such thing as responsible journalism nowadays?
Right. Well, that's exactly true, because most of what's happening nowadays is a lot of speculation, and then kind of following up on that speculation, and then maybe not following up on the speculation.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you're reporting things, rumors you hear without, unless we had Ben. Ben would,
Right. He would have known. He would have been on it. I see. For me, I just look at it and say, for guys like us, we are speculation. We are an opinion podcast, right? Mm-hmm. We have no connections anywhere to anything except
not anymore.
Not anymore. Exactly. So why, and Charlie Eisenhood calls himself a journalist. There has to be a different standard between what we say. Like for us, we can say anything we want. We're not upholding a certain level of, So here's the flip side. Is Charlie Eisenhood hurting the potential for sponsorships in Pro Tour if he leaks this information? Because if they have inside information about things that are going to happen on the Pro Tour that sponsorships may or may not do, or whatever it may be, is that a bad thing for the Pro Tour, or is it a moot point? Honestly, does it really matter?
I don't think it really matters, because people are going to want to be sponsors of the Pro Tour anyway, just to get their names out, get the money flowing into their companies, all that.
Sure.
So I think either way, does it hurts Ultiworld credibility wise.
Sure.
Yeah. Pro Tour, not really hurting it too badly, because they're going to get sponsorships either way.
Right.
So
if Charlie's talking more about the sponsorships without paying more, then why not?
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, it's not like he's fleecing them and he's like, "Hey, give me this amount of money, and I won't mention anything," or that kind of.
Not like that dude from Running It.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So
okay.
Officially, like down at the bottom of the Pro Tour page, I don't see Charlie. Like Jeff Spring is mentioned as tour director, Sean Jack, VP of partnerships, Baker Helton, VP of business, and then Zachary Kai Kendall is marketing director. And that's the only people listed. So I'm not sure media-wise who's officially...
Yeah, because I know like Ty Tennant is... I'm not sure if that's how you say his last name, but Ty has a realm as like the retail guy. Okay. And then, I know there's all those little positions and back end. So, and for some reason I thought he had it. I know he does. Doesn't he do some broadcasting as far as live? Isn't he one of the announcers? I swear he's...
Very well could be.
Swear that's one of the live guys that does stuff.
Yeah, I think at one point he was.
Yeah. So, well, either way, it doesn't matter. And Ken Climo, it does matter, but I guess we don't have any confirmation one way or the other. But I would say, so my humble opinion is, if Charlie Eisenhood does have an inside role with the PDGA or with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, they are two separate things, with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and he's hearing these things coming through the pipeline, and if it is something where a sponsor, Discraft, is saying, hey, I want to make sure that within my sponsorship package, we have the ability to promote Ken Climo and these discs. And he's seeing this media come through, like this new disc line, all this stuff. And then he turns around and uses it for his own advantage at Ultiworld.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No bueno, I don't think.
No, yeah, that doesn't seem very good.
Yeah.
Right, especially like... I'm always curious, though, who causes, like, who's leaking this? Right? Like, it's somebody within whatever company.
Yeah.
They just are like, please keep it under wraps, and they're like, yeah, no, this is too good to get out, that kind of situation. But yeah,
I feel like that's been the case for many years. Like the leaks. I mean, like, for instance, Ben, like on this podcast, we broke
the
Emerson Keith.
But it wasn't hard because Ben basically just went on Facebook or Instagram, looked up who he was following, and was like, hey, he's only following this. Oh, speaking of, I got something funny to mention about this in a second. Yeah. With,
and there was a big tiss about it.
Right.
Right? Mm. And he was like, oh, like, who cares? Like, if that person is willing to say it, that's who's willing to say it. Until someone is made an example of within the industry of like, this is a big no-no, it's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Right.
Or until disc golf decides that legitimacy of NDAs are real and they make their employees sign them. That's it. Because there's no way when players start touring other factories and things like that, when they're looking to make a change, that everybody's going to hold their mouth if there's no NDAs, right? Mm-hmm. There's no consequences. Who cares?
No.
So we're going to keep getting information well before it's due.
Exactly.
Which I don't mind.
No, not at all.
Gives us stuff to talk about.
Yeah. That's why we're here.
All right. What's the Isaac Robinson thing?
Oh, okay. Well, so Isaac earlier this week was posting. He had what was it? He's like trolling everybody because like basically it's like
he's doing so good at it.
So he was, what was it? There's a picture of him putting at I think it was a Discmania basket, or not Discmania basket, but a disc. I think it was
Disc Golf Park,
something like that, or Dynamic Disc Basket. I forgot who it was, but it had all these different companies. Like so it's like, I could be going to any one of these companies, yada yada yada, whatever. Okay, so the next post he has, he's in an airport playing Disc Golf Valley, and says Detroit. So everybody's like, oh, he's in Michigan trying to talk to MVP or Discraft over, but he's playing Disc Golf Valley, which is House of Discs.
Yep.
Discs, right?
Yeah.
So before all of this was happening, I just happened to I went on his Instagram, just kind of looked up to see what companies he was following. Mm-hmm. So the Wednesday before all this crap, all this trolling, he was following Prodigy. He was following Discmania. He wasn't following Innova. He wasn't following Dynamic Discs. He wasn't following all these other companies up until he started trolling, and then he started following everybody.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just me saying, if he's following Discmania for longer than these other companies, I would think that there's a good chance.
Yeah.
Why? Because I was like, I did the same thing with a couple other people too. I was like, oh, who are they following? No Innova, no smaller companies like Mint, Clash, anybody.
Right.
It was that, and then there's somebody else too. It was they were just following. I forgot who it was, but I went to look, and it was just Innova Pro Shop, and then not even Innova Pro Shop. So I was like, well, that's odd.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, there's kind of where there's smoke, there's fire kind of situation sometimes. Right.
But Isaac Robinson, Gannon Burr, that whole crew,
right?
They are great at this.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it's probably logical that Isaac Robinson will probably go to Discmania.
Yeah,
I would assume.
I would think so.
But who knows where the money is? Who knows any of that stuff?
Yeah.
It's sad to see because I don't know if you knew, but Dana Vici is no longer with. We were just talking about him.
Yeah, that was big news this week. Dana's no longer a sales director at
and there
Discmania.
Was, I don't know if he chose to. None of the details came out, but he's no longer sales director there.
Right. He did. There was a big post where he kind of talked about himself leaving. He's not going to leave disc golf.
Right.
Right. But he's just leaving Discmania for the time being.
Where's he going though? Is he going to be the new director of the things we're talking about soon?
That'd be interesting.
That would be neat. I wonder if he is taking an active role in something like that. But yeah, so it's who knows, and who knows where the money lies. Who knows? There's so many different things like that. You know, and if he is going to Detroit, now if he was in the airport trying to go somewhere and he found a gate that said Detroit on it.
That's exactly it.
So easy to stand in front of it.
That's what somebody was mentioning. They're like, oh, he could have just gone and like had some like, you know, layover somewhere and been like, go find a Detroit gate and just sit there, you know, that kind of thing.
Yep, take some pictures and do all that stuff. And
yeah, if you like were like really like somebody who liked to travel and you're like, oh, I've been in that, you know, terminal in like this airport, so I know he's at, you know, in this location, that kind of thing. Yeah. Like, oh, I recommend, you know, recognize the carpet in those seats. Like, I know exactly what.
But there are people that are genius. Have you ever seen the guy that does the map thing?
Yes.
Where it'll just be a picture and dude will be like, oh, that's boom. And he's like 50 miles away from it.
Right.
Like even like feet away from it sometimes. Yeah. All the way across the world. It's crazy. I'm sure there's people like that are like that with airports and things like that. They just, these beautiful minds, you know. They probably can't tie their own shoes, but man. So, no, I like it. I like the speculation. I like everything that's coming out. Player moves are super silent this year, though.
They really are.
Like, we're not hearing much.
Especially with 80-some free agents.
Yes.
Somebody else did kind of speculate on another show that perhaps Casey White's moving.
From Discmania?
Yeah. Like, they were trying to get him to shoot. This was rumor. Like, I think I heard this on Foundation or whatever, Griplock, that somebody was trying to shoot a video with Casey, and he didn't want to shoot it until January. So, I mean, maybe, like, he's kind of up in the air. Maybe just things are more concrete. But he is still pumping out Discmania stuff. Like, he has a new jersey that came out, like Discmania jersey. Yep. He didn't have a disc in the new red box that came out, but there's speculation that he'll have a disc in the black box when it comes out.
Right. Yep.
I got a red box, and I was like, yeah.
You got a red box?
I got a red box.
I wanted the last 64 box.
Oh, Matt got it.
Matt got one. Yeah. I didn't buy any this year just because of the 300 plus discs I have sitting down there. Right. So I figured. Maybe this year I'll hold off on buying them. Probably won't. I'll probably buy one, but
right on.
Casey White. Wherever he goes, I hope he goes somewhere good.
Yeah,
you know. And we talked about Holland, right? Because Holland's up, so I hope she goes somewhere cool too, or stays exactly where she is. She just gets pumped up a bit.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, Discraft, like the likelihood of them leaving someone behind like that is very slim. Very slim.
Very slim.
And now that they have like every world champion that's ever been, like if Climo goes there, I mean, we talked about that.
Yeah,
like,
we did.
Jeez. And can they now use the tagline, manufacturer of champions or something like that?
Yeah, right.
Because in Innova, the choice of champions or something, didn't they used to use that tagline?
Yeah, I think so. The choice of champions. Yeah. The manufacturer of champions.
Yeah. They can do something like even more
the
champions.
The stable of champions.
Yeah, the stable. That's nice. That's funny because, no, I'm not going to say it out loud.
Okay.
I'll get in trouble. I'll say it afterwards. I'm going to write it down so I don't remember. So I do remember. All right. So let's go on to the new thing. Talk about some people of the past. We'll talk about Will Shoestrick. So now he's active. He's in the sports still. But he's been basically the sales manager of Prodigy.
Yep.
Not anymore. He is now the CEO of Prodigy Discs. Awesome. So is this a
plugging the hole of the sinking ship?
Yes. Yes, exactly. I think you said it the best. Is this just let's put him in charge? This ship's going down no matter what. But let's see what he can do.
It definitely feels that way, right? Don't know much about the past CEO of Prodigy, but Will is a figure in the sport that is well liked. I would think he has a pretty good relationship with the players there, especially when a lot of people are looking to leave.
Yep.
So, yeah, I just don't hope if things end up turning, like, he's just not a scapegoat. Right. Like, he's put in this position to, like, get the hype going behind Prodigy, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we tried saving it. We hoped Will could do what he could do.
Yep.
But
some of the most successful CEOs in history have been guys that have started in the mailroom and worked their
Sure.
waves up, right? And Will Shoestrick is that guy. Like, he's a guy that started in the mailroom. You know, like when they first started, he was just a guy throwing discs, right? I hope it works out for him. Being CEO of any business is a big deal. It's hard work. And there's a lot more moving parts behind the scenes than anyone could ever think of. Even people that know the business. And I can say that for a certainty because I have seen 6 people that have gone from a position into ownership, and it's hard for them. And they know the business very well, you know. And I don't see that being any different in any industry. There are some people that are better at it than others. There's some people that have better support system than others, but it's hard. So hopefully it works out. I mean, I think he's been in a executive leadership role for a little while already. So maybe it is an easy choice. And maybe he has a team around him that is top notch and can help him do the things. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Prodigy has to offer these next couple of years.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you can always, like, we already kind of know that Isaac and Ezra are gone. And, like, this decision was made after, or maybe they brought him in to, like, repair something, you know, like with them, like you try to talk them into like, hey, look, I'm put in this position. Maybe we can work something out, that kind of situation. But a lot of times these player moves are already decided halfway through the year. Like they're talking to the companies already during the tour, summer months, and then it's just not announced till January.
Yep.
So
He's got an uphill battle though, because Prodigy doesn't have a culture anymore. And if it is a culture, it's a culture of negativity.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, there are still the diehard few.
Sure.
But it's mostly regional.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So maybe in Georgia, you know, but he needs to get out of that sounding chamber to figure out exactly what's going on around the rest of the United States. Because he comes to Wisconsin, people laugh. You know, I mean, there are real diehards.
Sure.
But outside of that, nobody cares. You know, we've talked about this before.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're one of the few companies that we've probably talked ad nauseum about.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Them and Innova. I'm off Innova, but we'll keep on Prodigy for a little while. But, you know, so we'll see. You know, we'll see. I wish him the best of luck. We have had a personal, and I'm not going to name a name, but we've had a personal friend that was inside Prodigy as an employee and hated it. Every bit of it, and blamed everything on that person, on Will Shoestrick. Wow. So, straight out of his mouth. So whether that's true or not, or if that's just animosity, you know, I mean, it happens. Like when your boss says something to you and you don't feel like it's appropriate, then it's all that person's fault, right? Because someone has to be a victim. So why not? So
True.
Was this just a victimhood card that was being used, or is it true? Is that culture broken?
I do feel like there's something to say though about being close to that person. Like he had kind of ties to Prodigy, and then he went to go work for him, right? So like he's probably come across Will, Kale, all those people, you know, within being close to the team, and then going to actually being part of it and being like, oh man, things really are screwed up, and like the pressure mounting and like coming from the top. Yeah. Like that might change the relationships, change the way you view things and all that. So,
well, and sometimes our view of ourselves is not the reality.
True.
The perception is not the reality. So maybe he wasn't the person he thought he was, right?
Yeah.
And maybe Prodigy's completely fine, you know, but I only work off the information that I have.
Yep.
And that's some of the information I got, you know, so I don't know. I still think Prodigy is going to be a bargain one day. As in, I could probably just go buy their molds someday.
Oh, gosh.
And then Prodigy will be at the top again. Oh, well. All right. Let's talk about players.
Okay.
We're starting to see players drop off the tour, saying that they will not tour. Now, we've had 3 total that I know of. One is, so first one is Drew Gibson.
Right.
Drew Gibson is more personal
Right.
because of his baby and life changes. So he's going to shorten his tour.
Right.
He's only going to attend 5 to 8, he said, somewhere around in there.
Somewhere right. Yeah.
And with the new tour popping up, he says he's going to at least give 1 to 2 of those events to that tour.
Sure.
And then we have 2 others, a husband and wife.
I don't remember what their relationship is. It's
Okay.
Kevin and Stacy.
They have the same
Kiefer.
name.
Yeah, they do. And they toured together.
Yes.
So Stacy's like, at this time, was 22nd ranked female player in the world. She decided that tour life just wasn't for her. So she decided she's going to be taking a step back. And Kevin said that although he's coming off of tour, this probably won't be like the last we'll see of him. Don't know any other really extenuating details, like if it's personal, if it's money related, like what it is. But they've just decided, hey, this isn't for us for now.
Right.
And for Stacy, probably won't be coming back.
Right. Do you think that would be a question if the money was there? I mean, logically speaking.
I think money probably does play a part into it. But do you have I think for some people, like playing all the time, right? Like we play because we love to play. It's our hobby. Like it's something we enjoy. Once it becomes to be like work and like it's just like we can separate ourselves from like going out and playing and coming home and be like, cool. They have the pressure, the added pressure of competing every weekend for points to stay on tour, for a tour card, all that mounting on top of them. We don't have that as amateur players. So that is really hard to have it be not your job.
Right. Yep. Well, and with the evolution of the tour and disc golf, they got to buy a tour card. They have to pay for tournaments. They have to pay to travel. They have to pay for their food. They have to pay. And if they are not getting stipends from whatever entity they're being sponsored by, how? The only other way is to win. Like you said, now it becomes a responsibility, a necessity of survival to win, or at least to place well enough that they can get to the next stop.
Yep.
So hopefully they can win, right?
Exactly.
And I don't know if I've ever seen either of their names at the top of the scoreboards.
Tough for me to
I mean,
say.
here and there,
Sure.
maybe, but
Usually middle of the pack, probably.
yeah. Well, I think Kevin was 50th on tour.
Okay. Yeah.
Something
that could
like
be
that.
like that.
Somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, I mean, it's like, so he used to be a lat 64 guy. I don't know if he is or not anymore.
Yeah. That could have been.
So he was a ladder DD. I can't remember exactly.
That's right.
Because I remember seeing his discs in the shop. So and if he's in the 50th range, like, man, that's no joke to be 50th in the world.
No.
That's
right?
good. That's really good.
You're one of the top 50 in the world.
Right. And then you look at, 22nd for the FPO. I mean, that's pretty darn good.
Absolutely.
Why are they dropping off? So I have a feeling out of those 80 available, we're going to see quite a few more.
I can see that.
I think we speculated about this maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago. And we had this conversation that we think we're going to start seeing that happen because everything's getting more expensive and the payouts are getting tighter. The competition is getting heavier. So what other direction is there? It's a war of attrition at this point now. If you are good enough and rich enough, you can stay on tour.
So this is kind of sad. Stacy says that she honestly never really found the passion for disc golf that she was hoping for. It takes a certain kind of person to tour, and I don't think that person was me. Grateful for all the lessons and learned and endless traveling experiences I got with Kevin. Don't worry, this isn't the end of disc golf for me, just taking a much needed break. Thank you for my sponsors. Yeah. So just kind of fell out of love with it a little bit. I think that's kind of what happened to shoot.
Prodigy, purple.
Yep. Heather
Young. There he goes. Yeah, that's the same thing. But she was like a fart in the wind.
Yeah,
like when she made that choice, she was gone.
Right.
That was it. That was it. You saw her compete in one event that year, and that was it. She was done. So yeah, and it sucks. She was pretty good, Heather Young.
She was pretty decent. Yeah.
Yep. But it wasn't for her either, you know?
Yeah.
And okay, here we go. This is going to be, might be controversial just because I'm going to use the male-female thing. I think males are more suited for this type of thing. Dudes are more suited for this type of thing. Like touring, being on their own, surviving.
Okay.
Like, I think that mentality of just being that vagabond, like go from spot to spot to spot, is traditionally more appealing to men than it is to women.
Okay.
I'm not saying that women aren't have that type of appeal, but I think women tend to have more of a, I want a place to be rooted. I want safety. I want security. You know? And I think we all want that to an extent. But I think men have this primal urge to just get out and explore, have fun, and then come and do that, right? And maybe that's what it is.
I can kind of see that.
Maybe in the younger years, that's what they're doing. And that's why you see people starting to fall off, you know?
Yeah, possibly.
Is that like, we've done this, we thought we were going to make it big, didn't quite get to where we wanted to, so now it's to settle down.
Sure.
Now it's to grow roots, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe speculation.
Yeah.
But because you think about like all these guys, you know, I just think about all these documentaries you see about these random like niche sports like rock climbing and biking, and it's always like these hardcore dudes that are like, not hardcore dudes, but dudes that are super hardcore about this sport or this niche. And these are the guys that like, they don't have anything but their bike, you know, or anything but their climbing gear, you know?
Right. But at the same time, you can't tell me that Simon and Paul and like some of these other guys that they can fly home whenever they want on any weekend aren't super hardcore about the sport.
No, but they made it. Like they were
did.
that
well,
person.
They were, right.
I mean, Simon came from Germany and toured around in a van for how many years, right?
Yeah, right. That's true.
So, and Paul, like,
same.
Long Beach, 2006, and kind of did the same thing. They just struck it rich, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were on that next level.
That is true. I mean, for people just starting out, it's hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And unless you hit that ultimate tier, right? I would say there's a shelf life for everybody, you know, unless you're making $1 million a year. I mean, $1 million, you know, $1 million a year.
Do you feel like Kristen Tatar is like one of those interesting cases coming from Europe where she just like came over, like granted she toured, but like just almost like immediate success, right? Like she just hit the ground kind of running, and like it took her a little bit, but then like all of a sudden she started winning and like really dominating.
Yeah.
And
because what was she before? She picked like tennis? I remember watching that documentary about her, and it wasn't a documentary or remember because like all of her family had something.
Sure.
And then she was skiing. Wasn't it skiing?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Anyways. Yeah, I think you're right. I think she is one of the few that just kind of, and she did it later in her life too, you know, and she was successful later in her life because she didn't really come onto tour until she was 29?
Right.
Maybe 28. Maybe it was earlier than that.
Yeah, I forgot how old she is right now.
But like she just like, that was it. She was there, you know. And she, all the like her hard work, her personality, like her looks, her, you know, just everything, her camera presence, her throws, her ability, like they all just lined up. It was like this perfect storm that vaulted her into, you know, stardom.
Yeah.
And hard work and commitment. Like she had everything, or she has everything. Like she's not around anymore. She has everything, you know? And I feel like that's kind of like a Paul or Simon, you know, but those two grinded for a long time.
Yeah.
You know? But you look at Yuli. I mean, how many years did Yuli grind? And he's still grinding, you know? I mean, maybe a little less now, but to say he's not grinding when he's Jomez, he's playing, he's doing, you know, live commentary sometimes. He's like, dude's going.
Yeah.
Dude's going.
That's for
Team
sure.
captain. Like, he's moving. So, I don't know.
The university or whatever it's called. We were just talking.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it in just a couple seconds. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Power Disc Golf Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
A baby, a wife.
Right, yeah.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. So, well, let's get into that then. Let's talk about that. So, my speculation, we'll end this by saying my speculation is we're going to see more players drop off tour here. And I think it's going to be for those reasons we kind of talked about. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's just going to be like money. I mean, they're not going to have people to fund their tour, to pay for their tour card. So, they're just going to start dropping off.
Right.
Which kind of leads us into the Future of Disc Golf Academy by Pulse. So I saw a post on Steve Dodge's Facebook page. That's where I found it.
Oh, okay.
And it was on Steven Dodge's Facebook page. And if you're not familiar with Steve Dodge's, we'll say it again. He was the creator of the Pro Tour. Mm-hmm. He's the one that did it. 2014, 15 was when he started it. And the future of disc golf, he goes, the future is coming, and he posted it up online. So essentially what it is, Pulse, the academy, which is a European-based academy, is starting essentially a tour, an amateur tour, or an amateur competition.
Amateur competition for sure. There aren't a whole lot of details out about it right now. So this is on the Future of Disc Golf website as of now. So Future of Disc Golf is going to happen the week after the World Championships in Finland this year. And so basically what it is it's a week-long camp, and participants are under 18. There's going to be clinics, side events, able to meet pros who are over there, I'm sure, around that time. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the week, the Eland Open is set to return. And this year, it is going to be exclusively for players under 18, including FJ15 and MJ15. And then there will be divisions for people up to the age of 18. And I'm guessing they're saying there's an opportunity to win a spot in the 2026 European Open. Pretty cool. I'm guessing that's for probably like the highest FJ15 or whatever. There's not a lot of information at this time. It says it's coming in the weeks. But so like the whole build up to this, it was like Steve Dodge, OTB, I think Edge Disc Golf, Discmania. There's a number of other people that were like, the future of disc golf is coming. Like they're kind of teasing this big thing up. And then I forgot about it. And all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, future of disc golf. What is that? I go to the website and it's like almost blank.
Yep.
I'm like, what is this? There's not a whole lot here. So more details will be coming about it. But it sounds cool. I mean, if you're a kid, like obviously for Europeans, it's going to be very much easier to get to this than anybody over on this side of the world. But a week to go possibly get trained by, clinks with pro players. Sounds cool. And then have your own event and a chance to be at the first spot in the world champion or for European Championship.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, European Open.
So who this is ran by is Pulse, and it is once again a European disc golf company based out of Europe, but it's very similar to Paul Ulibarri's Power Disc Golf Academy. So they have instructors, which is Avery Jenkins, Thomas Gilbert, Matt Bell, Jen Allen, Philo Brathwaite, Eric Oakley, Scott Stokely.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have a decent assortment of people and very different. And they offered, I think it said, I can't see it now, over 11,000 instructional or 1,100 instructional videos.
Wow.
And it's one of those monthly, like for a monthly cost of like $7.95, you can have access to those, and they have tiers, which is very, very similar to Power Disc Golf Academy, which is Paul Ulibarri's, which is a one low price of, and you get all these videos. And now that includes like Simon Lizotte, Paul Ulibarri, I forgot exactly who else it was, but there's some pretty big names there as well. So kind of competing academies, which is pretty great. I mean, to have those options.
Right.
And I don't think, one is any better than the other. I haven't had any chance to really look at either one of them, which that would be interesting to do that, though, to actually sit down and go through either. Just pay it for a month and see what both of them look like, what they offer, what they're doing, and see what the quality of each of them are. But between those two, which is awesome. So we'll get back to the future of disc golf, that tour or competition or whatever it is. I think it's great. It's Corn Ferry. It's a upstart league. It's a G League. It's something to get the youth on.
Right.
Very similar to what's the tour that
Q Series?
No, the tour that is currently going right now, the amateur one that
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
and I can't remember the guy's name that runs it. He's a Lat 64 guy. Cenas. He throws Cenas.
Bobby Music. No,
no,
not Bobby Music. Dang it.
Jeepers creepers. Anyways, well.
I know. I can picture Dave Feldberg.
Yes, Dave Feldberg. There you go. Yeah, Dave Feldberg. Good job.
Yeah.
So Dave Feldberg. So it's very similar to that. Because when they would win that, before they used to get a car, then they got, anyways, on and on.
Right, like Kyle Klein won it, Silas Schultz won it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then what ended up happening is they would get a bid into one of the Elite Series.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
And now I'm not sure exactly what they get now. I think they get a tour card, right?
Not positive.
Or is that maybe just U.S. Amateur Championship?
Yeah,
that
could be.
But so there's a couple tours. There's a couple tours that are going on that do these things. But those are the two that are based upon true amateurs and juniors. Because the other one is the one Dave does is all juniors, right?
I'm pretty sure.
You have to be under 18.
I think so.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called.
I think it's a junior. Yeah, you look that up. But I think that's great. I think they're giving the youth, which is good, and that's what it says, the future of disc golf. They're giving youth an opportunity to do something pretty exciting at a very minimal risk. All they got to do is participate in this competition. And if they happen to do well enough in this competition, then there you go. They get a chance to go do it with the pros and see how they stack up.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say that people like Gannon Burr, Silas Schultz, like you said, Kyle Klein, these are all people that were competing with the best in the world before they turned 18. So hopefully we find another one like that out of this tour.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I wonder if there's going to be any American-based competitions for this, or is it all going to be European-based?
Well, it looked like Maple. So on their website, shoot, I'm not on it anymore, and I just closed out.
That's right.
There was qualifying events. It looked like Maple Hill was a qualifying event.
Okay.
So
okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great. And then, European Pro Tour or European Tour is part of the Pro Tour now. Mm-hmm. So, that's awesome. I love seeing that. All right. Anything else to say about that? Or are you still looking up the tour for Feldberg?
I'm just looking up the tour, but I'm not currently seeing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can keep.
Why is it that our minds do that? Like,
because we have a lot. We're thinking about a lot more other stuff.
Yeah.
Than just
than tours.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, let's talk about another tour.
All right, let's talk about another tour.
All right. So, surprise, surprise, there is now a competition to the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Yes.
And it is called the Go Throw Tour.
The Go Throw Tour. Yeah.
So from what I'm understanding, GK Pro is kind of behind this whole thing.
They are rebranding to...
they are rebranding.
Yes.
Okay.
Rebranding to Go Throw.
Go Throw.
And in rebranding, they have decided to start the Go Throw Tour.
Okay.
So GK Pro kind of teased out, they had a video that said, saying goodbye.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, what's going on? GK Pro's, going down, whatever, they're...
All the speculation.
That they're actually headed to shut down and everything. Luke comes on, and he's like, hey, we want to thank everybody for the last couple of years, whatever. And then it's like, hey, we are rebranding to Go Throw. And he's like, with that being said, we are starting the Go Throw tour.
Yeah.
Not a lot of, they said that it's going to be another tour. There's going to be high-level pros on the tour. But other than that, they only gave a couple of tour dates as of now. And so the ones that they gave us so far were Hideaway Disc Golf, Persimmon Ridge, Eagles Crossing, and Kayak Point. And so those are the ones that they said. It looks like on the website now they have added the Majestic, Failer Lake Bomber Invitational, and Highland Brewing Player and Fans Invitational. So from what I can see right now, with these 7 events, the tour is going to be starting March 8th, and then it is going to run through October 5th. Now, the tour dates on here looks like about every 2 weeks, because it starts the 8th. It'll be the next one at Persimmon Ridge will be March 28th. So we're looking at 2 weeks or less
between events.
With that being said, the tour is going to take a break as of right now, it looks like, from June 19th to September 10th.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so the Majestic is on the 19th, and then it's not going to Failer Lake until the 10th. There will also be a tour. It'll be a points-based tour. There will be a tour championship based on points. Don't know much about payouts or anything
right
of that nature, but this seems like it's an early start to the season, like real early. March, like that's crazy early.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen events on the Pro Tour start as early as February.
Right.
But that is not the case anymore. Well, no, it still is.
No,
it still is.
Right.
Yeah.
Down south.
Right.
So competing, perhaps, what's the word I'm looking for? What's not like supplemental?
Complementary?
Yeah.
Parallel?
Either one of those. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's along those roads. And, okay, so Saturday, this tournament, I'm guessing that they're able to do this Hideaway Disc Golf tournament on this Saturday because there's nothing going on DGPT tour-wise. And same with Friday. Like, some of these other dates are Tuesdays, Thursdays, Wednesdays, like middle of the week. And so I'm curious, sponsorship, like who's sponsoring it besides OTB. OTB was one of the biggest sponsors.
Yeah.
They always had the Skins VIPs, their Patreon program.
I wonder
Epic
if the
Games,
OTB Open is going to continue to be a Pro Tour stop then. It's already been announced that it is, right?
Right. I mean, OTB's always been a sponsor of Tour Series Skins. That's kind of how they got it going. But I mean, I shouldn't say it's always, but predominantly, Tour Series Skins has been MPO. You don't see a lot of FPO, so I'm curious if they're able to have both go on at the same time.
Yeah, they might. Or are they just unapologetically going to be who they are?
Right.
Like, are they just going to be, this will be the tour, come and compete?
Sure.
I'm assuming being a PDGA sanctioned event, that's not going to be the case.
Right.
They're going to have to offer both. But how are they going to do it?
Yeah.
Right. Are they going to have 2 separate tours? Like, are they going to split them up, or are we just going to?
Right. And then I'm curious about qualifying. Like, do you have to be a tour card holder, or can you be somebody that's not a tour card holder of a certain rating that can come play on this tour?
Yeah.
There's a lot out there that we don't really know yet.
No. The big thing is the why. Why?
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, I think it's brilliant. I love it. And there's a lot of great things that I want to talk about. And what I think about it. And there's a lot of not so good things as well.
Sure.
But why? Why did they decide to do this? Because there's a cost to running events. And if they're not run well, they will tank. And they will lose money. And GK Pro, now Go Throw, may not exist because of it, right?
Right.
So, Luke Humphreys has always done a really good job. I think at this point he's probably going to have to keep his dog off the course.
Right. PDGA Tour events.
Exactly. Yeah.
They are a partner. PDGA is a partner. These are sanctioned events.
Yeah, they have to be sanctioned events. So, so now we have 2 tours underneath the PDGA, which is great. This isn't the first time we've seen it. There's the American Disc Golf Tour. There was the National Tour. There was the World Tour, Disc Golf Pro Tour. So we've seen a lot of them over the years. So, I wonder, I hope it works out. I
do too.
Because it's just one more avenue. And if this is on the level of experiential as a Disc Golf Pro Tour is, like as far as like coming in and feeling special, feeling like pros are given what they should be given, or are they going to cater to amateurs here, or is this truly just going to be another pro level tour that, they're going to compete on what is what? Is it going to be a live and a PGA?
Right.
Tour,
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So here are some questions that I have.
Okay.
The way that they can make it most successful is if they truly parallel the tour, right?
Right.
They got to put the events close enough to other events of the Pro Tour in order to be successful, to pull the big names. How are they going to accomplish that when there is a 500-mile radius on
8 tiers?
No, Pro Tours.
Oh, right.
For National Elite. So it's 250, I think, for 8 tiers.
Okay, right.
Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I don't remember. But I know it's at least 500 miles. How are they going to get close enough?
By not having it. I mean, they're going to can't have it the same weekends. Like that, I think that feels like.
But isn't the Pro Tour basically every weekend?
Basically. I mean, there's times where it's.
Darn close.
Yeah, it is. But some of these tournament dates are in the middle of the week. So you could catch people touring in between, and we don't know if they're how many rounds the tournament's going to be, how many days it'll take. I mean, looked like a couple, like actually looks like most of them were like 2 or 3 days. So during the middle of the week, I mean, that's a lot to ask for somebody to travel, miss practice days at Pro Tour events to this, unless you can promise big payouts.
Exactly. And that's why I think we're looking at a live compared to the PGA Tour.
So by limiting the amount of tournament dates that they actually have, they might be able to offer bigger purses from sponsorships and things coming in, possibly because you're not having to spread them out as far.
It's a field of dreams, though.
It is.
Like, if you build it, they will come. But if you don't build it, they're not going to come. Like, so if you build it, the players will come. But if you don't build it, the sponsorships aren't going to come. So if you don't have enough events to qualify for the dollars you need from the sponsors, then you're not going to have the sponsorship dollars to pay the pros,
True.
So it's a conundrum, and it's going to be hard for them. It's an uphill battle.
It is.
But I think you're right. I think if a touring pro can go to one of these events on the Go Throw tour, they can stop at one of these things, still points based, still all this stuff, and they can put themselves in a position to win some big money. I mean, why not? Like, the PGA event goes told tour scores. So let's say they win, I don't know, $3,500 at a Pro Tour, and then they go to this Go Throw event that's in between the two, and you just happen to be able to do it because the Go Throw event is smart enough and wise enough to position it between the two Pro Tours. Then awesome.
Right. Or here's the other thing is, say you're going to play, I mean, this could also very well just go like the same realm as like Tour Series Skins was going, is like, okay, we're doing this where you have like CTP on this hole, you have your, this hole's worth however many dollars, and at the end they're playing for, at the end of all that, they're playing for the championship. Like, they kind of did this with Tour Series Skins already. Like, they won the belt, they won all that. It's just now points based rather than being like, okay, this guy's been on this many times. We need a way of like being like, okay, this is pretty official. Like, it's always like, okay, fan favorite so and so is on. He's been on this many times. He's gonna play for the big prize at the end.
Right,
So
right.
this is just a little more legitimized Tour Series skins.
So here's the other thing that I love about it is that the ridiculousness of the proving ground of the Pro Tour having to have been an A tier or better for at least 1 year before they're able to become a Pro Tour stop, that goes away. And you don't have to tiptoe around using these fantastic courses that people have put big money into, like Eagles Crossing.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of those names, that's what they are. They're destination courses that were built specifically for putting big Pro Tour events on. And nobody's done it yet because they don't want to step on anybody's toes.
Yeah. Like the guy at Eagles Crossing, he's like, oh, my goal was to have something here like by, and like, I forgot what it was. Like I forgot who went to that initial like video and they're like, oh yeah, I'd love to have it,
was
US DGC here in like 2025 or, something like that.
Yep.
And we haven't seen that transpire.
No. And why? And it's because you don't want to step on the toes of all these people, like Nate Heinold and like all these guys that have all these little courses that they have, the stranglehold on. And that's a good thing.
It is.
Don't let me turn it into a negative thing on that part. But the tradition and history of the tour dictates that these are the places that they have to go to because they have very capable directors, very good courses, right? The rest of it's all kind of an unknown. But this whole tour is an unknown, so who cares? Give it a try. Go to these places that people want to see on camera.
And maybe just, because we always hear that there's the DGPT has their own like group chat, like all those things, talking to players about what we can do differently. You can just start from scratch.
Right.
Like you just listen to players right away. Be like, okay, it's our first year. What do you guys want to see? What do you want? Like, how can we do things the way you guys want to do it? And just get it right from the start.
But they've already seen all the nonsense in the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So they're already starting on like the 5th level. They haven't had to fight through those bosses.
Right.
Like it's like a cheat code. Like you're in Contra with the, up, down, left, right. That's exactly what that is. And it's beautiful because they can use the knowledge that they have because, Humphreys is part of all those conversations. And all the people that are in the Pro Tour that have these group chats, they all know it. They talk about it. They hear it. So I think it's awesome. I don't think there's definitely ways that they can fail, but I don't think that if they use the resources that are available to them, that it won't be an enjoyable tour while it lasts. Right.
Yeah. Right.
So,
and the other thing media-wise is it's just gonna be on GoThro's media. You don't have to pay for a DGPT or DGN subscription, whatever. It's just gonna be on their regular old YouTube channel. You can go out and watch it whenever you want.
Yep, exactly.
Whenever it's available.
So I think it's both and. So it is both sides of it's not only the future but the past of disc golf is what I'm kind of feeling that it is. Like it's the future of disc golf because they already know what the Pro Tour has done, what they're doing bad, what they're doing well, and they can take all that and just run with it. So they're already a step ahead of the Pro Tour, right?
Sure.
Or they can be a step ahead of the Pro Tour. But they also know what has been missed from the past that people love. Like some of that informality of disc golf has gone away, like where you can be upfront and personal with pros and play on the same card, see them on the same course. That's gone away with the Pro Tour, right? They just kind of remove the amateur portion from the Pro Tour. So it's a lot more guarded. You can't park right next to the pros, all that stuff. That'll probably happen on this tour. So I think it's some of the best from the past and some of the best from the future, or what we hope to be the best of the future, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a both and. I love it. I think it's awesome. We'll see where it goes, though.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes. Because we don't know anything other than Luke Humphreys and GK Pro.
Pretty much.
And the courses they're going to play.
Yeah.
So we will see. So March 8th, it sounds like we'll find out.
Yeah. Unless they come out with some other kind of news within the next, couple of months leading up to it. But yeah, for the most part, that's what it sounds like.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited, man. That's great. I'm glad someone had the calmness to do it. I think I said that right. I don't know. I don't know Spanish. All right. Last but not least. Jump putts within 20 meters.
Yeah.
Big no-no. Or is it? So it seems like the PDGA is talking about it.
They are talking about. There's rumblings about it.
Yeah.
Jump putts and step putts.
I think it's a good conversation.
It is. I think so too. Did you? I don't know if you saw it, but Lat64 put out a video with Kristen where she was being interviewed about cheating because of
Yes.
jump putts, and that she may have kicked her disc a couple times while jump putting. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one, man. Like I really enjoyed that because it was like you see Kirsten's face and then you say she's a cheater it was great clickbait.
Yeah, that's totally what, yeah.
And then you read it and you're like, oh man, like she doesn't do anything wrong. Like, how are people be getting crazy? But man, there were some harsh comments made about it. And it really affected her too. Like, it changed her putt completely.
Well, yeah, she did. She absolutely went out and changed her form to make sure that she was compliant with rules.
Right. So 20 meters, so 60 feet, 66 and a third foot or
like
something,
edge of
just like that.
circle 2.
Yeah. So 60 feet, no step or jump putts. So essentially, it's like you're within 33 feet. I would love that. I think it would be fantastic. So essentially what that means is you can do whatever you want behind the disc. You just cannot fall in front of your disc or step in front of your disc until you exhibit balance.
Yes.
So it has to be a good throw. And I think that's balance behind your disc.
Yeah.
So I don't mind this at all. I think you and I have talked about this before.
We have.
I don't mind this at all because I think step putts have brought in a level of competitive advantage for the people that use them.
Right.
And in reality, if you drill a step putt, and if you can be 70%, from 60 and in, like, yeah.
That's an advantage.
And there are people that are that way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that are that, maybe not a lot, but there are people that are that way. And the numbers becoming more and more. One of the biggest things that is easy in disc golf is putting.
Sure.
I mean, maybe not for guys like us, but for pros, like,
how often do you see people nailing circle 2 putts easily? Right?
Exactly. Yep. And even circle 1, anything inside circle 1, there may, I mean,
unless you're Evelina.
Exactly.
Or Katrina.
Oh man. I really want to go down that hole, but I'm not going. I'm going to be nice. I think that it's a good move. I would love to see it. I don't see a thing wrong with it at all. And honestly, I don't know what the discussion is about. Because outside of 60 feet, like outside of 20 meters, go ahead, step putt,
Yeah.
There's a lot of variation. I think adding difficulty to the putting green is a great idea. Because the Pro Tour has, and any tour, high level, elite level tour, or event, they don't put anything on the greens anymore. There's no trees. There's no nothing on the greens anymore.
Exactly.
It's just wide open shots.
Occasionally you see somebody have to step out from a tree, but around the basket area. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, for sure within 25 to 30 feet, I would say 95% of every green that's on the tour is clear within circle 1.
Yeah.
There's nothing inside circle 1. I get it for camera reasons, but that also makes it boring for camera reasons.
Yeah.
Like, if they're inside, you may as well just start going to the next hole. Like, all these pros. Like, if you're top 25 or better, and you miss a 30-footer, like, you shouldn't be a 25. You're probably not a top 25, honestly. So, I don't know. I mean, I like it. I don't have any issues with it.
Should they allow it now that there's video evidence that you're allowed to use? And you can just catch people and submit it.
But does that invite controversy?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Sometimes you need controversy.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Oh, imagine just being it. Disc golf needs villains.
I agree. Everybody is too nice.
Yeah.
Everybody is too nice. That's why Brody Smith and Drew Gibson are awesome.
They get a lot of hate.
They do, man.
But they keep it real for the most part.
For the most part,
Yeah.
they do. For the most part, they got to tiptoe around certain things, but for the most part, I mean, they're just no holds barred, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
They call it out, and I think with these step putts, I don't like. No, I don't like it. I'd rather them just say, "Be better at putting."
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
what I mean, like, because what's cooler than seeing. You know, because Kristen's pretty good about this now. Like, she doesn't really step putt at all.
Mm-hmm.
And she just has this just beautiful, like, you know, straddle stance that she just, like, she can hammer things from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's awesome to see. And she put the time in to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it took her about a year to figure it out, but she does it. So, and there's quite a few other people that do it. And especially with, like, you know, you look at Gannon's putt, Ricky's putt, Eagle's putt, like Simon's putt. These guys don't need to step putt.
No, not at all.
Their putts are just, they're darts. I mean, they are as flat as can be. So I really don't think it's going to bother anybody except for amateurs.
Yeah. But even playing, I don't see amateurs doing a lot of step putting or jump putting. Occasionally, like from really far out, I've seen maybe a handful of people attempt a jump putt. Mm-hmm. I think it feels awkward to jump putt.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I don't have a problem with them. I don't have a problem with them. Jump putting, I do. I step putt a lot.
Yeah.
I started to step putt when I was playing in a tournament that I was leading, and then a gentleman named Ken Benhamo started step putting, and this was probably the best I've ever seen anybody step putt. I mean, he probably hit, and this is an exaggeration, maybe 6 in an 18-hole round.
Oh, okay.
And it was just like anytime he step putted,
It was
dead
going
center
in.
chains.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And I was just like, there was a point where he was right on circle's edge, and it was kind of a guess, yes or no,
Yeah.
whether it was in or out. And I go, I think it's out, but I want to say it's in because I know you'll miss that. But if it's a step putt, you're going to make it, you know? And sure enough, man, we all decided it was out.
Okay.
And yeah, he
drained it?
He drained it. I
Wow.
mean, so it gives an advantage if you know how to do it.
Yeah.
It gives an advantage if you know how to do it.
Speaking of that, asking, I'm surprised at how like people ask, like, is this in the circle? Is this out of the circle? All the time. You're like, dude, yeah, like, okay, this is clearly outside of circle
Yes.
too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, around circle 1, sure, I'm not totally good, like what 33 feet looks like, but if I'm like, yeah, this is definitely outside of circle 2.
Exactly. I just think it's really funny that when people ask that, because essentially what they're asking is whether they can step or not.
You're right.
Like, because what changes inside a circle? Like outside of circle 1, nothing changes. It's just whether you're in circle 1 or circle
Yeah.
2. You know, it's no big deal. With another gentleman that I used to play with, one of his most famous lines, and I had to like turn around because I started laughing so hard. The guy kept asking whether he was in or out, in or out.
Yeah.
And then finally, he just stops and he goes, "What, outside of circle 2 or what?" It's like, oh my goodness, dude. Like, and I was just dying because this guy kept asking and kept asking.
Yeah.
And dude was like, "Dude, you are like 90 feet out. Just putt. Like, just pick up the disc and throw." It was really fun. But that was a really fun card. It was like a group of 5. We were a group of 5.
Okay.
And all 5 of us were it was so fun. It was so fun. We broke so many, like, not more courtesy rules, just the way we were talking to one another.
Yeah.
No rules broken, but it was just, man, it was bad. It was bad. So, yeah, that was the same one where I missed like a 15-footer. It was maybe even less than that. Like, everybody had already started to walk away.
Okay.
And I putt, and it went straight through the chain. No, that was the time when I used to hold another disc in my hand, and I hit the other disc.
Oh.
And it like just went and hit the ground. And then the guy that said that, he turns around and he goes, did I just hear that hit the ground? And I go, yeah, I hit my putter. My other putter. So from that day forward, I never used another putter in my hand.
Good lesson.
Right. Yeah. So anything else to talk about?
I don't know.
No?
Not that I can think of disc golf wise.
No. I was at a basketball tournament today and saw someone poop their pants.
No.
A player.
No.
Yeah. It was bad. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was unfortunate. It was, so these are fifth graders, fifth and sixth graders. I felt horrible for the guy, like for the kid. And he was in a white uniform.
Oh my gosh.
And white trunks. And you see him kind of walking next to the coach. And the coach points up at the stand at the dad and he's like,
Yeah.
And Dad's like, what? And he goes, come here. Dad goes, what? He goes, have him come up here. And he goes, get down here. The coach says it to the dad.
Oh, no.
And I was like, holy moly, what is going on? So obviously now everybody's looking.
Yeah.
So he comes down and he like whispers over. And then he goes, his dad goes and looks at his son.
Oh no.
And then he like puts his arm around his son and they turn to walk. And all it is like brown. I was like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
I bet the kid had like the worst stomachache ever and like just didn't say anything or like
right. Yeah.
something like.
Well, they're playing, man. Like,
Yeah.
I get that. Like, I'm not making fun of the kid. I'm not shaming him. Like, crap happens.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad, but it was just like right on the butthole. There's nothing you could do. And he's white trunks. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do?
Oh, geez.
It's not like the team carries extra trunks. You know,
Yeah.
it's not, they don't have an equipment manager. Like, this is fifth grade boys basketball. You know, like,
God.
it's not quite herding cats level at this age, but it's not much better.
No, definitely not.
Not much better. But yeah, poor kid, you know, and that's one of those situations that no matter how good of a friend you are with whoever's around you,
You're going to hear about
you're going to hear about it for a long time.
Yes.
Like, you're probably going to be at that dude's wedding and he's going to be like, hey, remember when you pooped your pants? You know it's going to happen.
It's like super bad.
Yes.
He's like, Jesus, Evan, that happened when I was like 8th grade or whatever.
Exactly. But you know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, because if I had the opportunity to do that to someone that I knew, I would do it.
Oh, just soul crushing.
It is. It is. As a matter of fact, I know of a gentleman in high school who pooped his pants twice. Thank you very much. Same season.
Oh, no.
I will not use his name, but you know
Football?
who you are. Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. One time was just that so his nickname was Bull. We used that one.
Yeah.
He just pooped his pants. There's really no reason. He just pooped his pants. The next one, he got hit really hard. He pooped his pants.
Okay.
The one when he got hit was pretty bad. The one where he just pooped his pants, that one was bad. That was like, bring the sprinkler out because you got to hose this area of the field down bad.
Oh, my gosh.
It was so bad.
Gross.
Yeah, it was bad. So, all right. Well, with that being said, anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
Should have been deuces in the toilet.
Exactly. So, I guess my wise word of advice is you always have to pregame.
Or carry extra with you.
Yeah, exactly. No, my ritual before any competition is a pregame. I always poop before I go and compete. I've never actually pooped myself. I've been pretty darn close. There might have been some slippery escapades that ended up into itchy nightmares at points.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
But never have I ever truly pooped myself. Well, here's a question for you.
Oh, gosh.
Can you say you've never pooped yourself if you've sharted?
No, you've definitely...
That's pooping yourself,
Yeah,
right?
it is, right?
All right, there you go.
feel
So
like
there's
that
your
is-
word
yeah.
to the wise. If you sharted, you pooped yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long has it been since you've sharted?
Probably a couple of weeks.
See, there you go. There you go. On that note,
Got real close the other day. Like, I had a bad stomach ache.
oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
You just kind of feel it rumbling, and you're like, oh, something's about to go down.
Yeah, yeah. Do you get that way, like when you're running your route?
No.
And like every once in a while, you're like, oh.
No, but like having to pee. A lot. It happened. Like, I get the urge, and like I try to hold it as long as I can, like, because there's nowhere to stop out on my route. But
Don't we live in like the country?
we do, right?
If you got caught peeing en route, like in the woods, would it be a big deal?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. So I always have like certain stops where I'm like, I go certain places that are away from
Sure.
people. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
That's a good
'Cause
idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That makes sense.
Because a lot of public restrooms this time of year shut down.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially ones in the parks around here.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Well, and just businesses up here. It's a ghost town.
Yep.
I mean, for you to find a place to stop, especially north of Sister Bay.
I'm sure if I asked somebody politely, like, hey, I really got to use your restroom, like, they'd let me. And then they'd be like, is it one or two? And I'd be like, it's just one. And
I feel like that's personal information.
yeah, right.
Just so you know, any mailman or delivery man that comes to my house, if you need to poop, ask me. I'll let you in. I have no problem with that. You poop right up here if they want to. Yeah. I
Just can't use our main bathroom.
Exactly. No, I don't care. I don't care. All right. With all that being said, keep us subpar. And remember, keep the juices in the toilet.
Yeah.
See ya.